This
It is
conference will now be recorded.
It is 5:31 p.m. on Monday, February 8th. This is the meeting of the Historic Preservation Board. I'm Chair Lisa Cove. We have a quorum. We are waiting for Ken Morrow to come in. He should be here. He said he would be. I want to welcome Marina. Is it Marina, our new secretary? I can't see you, Marina. I don't know what you look like because I did meet you in person. I'm so happy to have you join us. We look forward to working with you. This is a great, passionate group, so hopefully you'll feel very welcome. We have Jeff Pollock here today. Jeff is considering being a member of the HPB, so we're working with Jeff on logistics with that and Mayor Corby. Before we begin, do I have anybody who needs to recuse themselves from any application today? Dorothea or Marina, you want to take roll call?
Marina, I'm going to let you go ahead and start your first roll call.
All right, great. Chairperson Cove?
No, I do not.
Chairperson Seal? I'm sorry, you're muted.
Sorry, no, I do not.
Great. Member Harrington?
No conflicts, thanks.
Okay, Member McBride?
No conflicts.
All right, I believe that's everyone as we're still waiting for Ken Morrow.
Ken, looks like Ken just joined.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ken. We're just taking roll call to see if you need to recuse yourself from any application on today's agenda. Do you have any problems?
No, I don't need to recuse myself.
Okay, great.
Great.
Marina, do you want to read why we are doing our meeting on Zoom?
Sure. Let me pull that up. Pursuant to Governor Cuomo's recent executive orders 202.1, 202.3, 202.4, 202.6, 202.7, 202.8, 202.10, 202.13, 202.14, 202.15, and 202.18, and due to the coronavirus epidemic, the village hall will be closed to the public during this meeting, but the village can watch the live meeting online from the video conferencing link made available on the Village of Pittsburgh website.
Great, thank you. The only last thing I want to do, this is just a little house cleaning. I would encourage everybody to mute themselves unless they need to talk. I think it's just going to be a lot easier for all of us to hear if you remain muted unless you need to say anything, please. Thank you. So we are going to begin on our agenda. Our first applicant is Ian McDonald at 21 Sheen Place for a sign. Is Ian here?
No, Ian? I'm not seeing Mr. McDonald.
Okay. Is there a representative for Mr. McDonald at all?
He was just on. I just saw his name a minute ago.
He's not here now.
Okay, he was just on.
Yeah, I don't see him in my.
Yeah, he's not now, but he was on.
Okay. Well, what we will do is we will just go to the next one, and when he gets on, we'll just take him next. We're going to move on to Tucker Koo at 5 State Street for a sign. Is Tucker Koo here?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Tucker.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome. So it looks like you are going to replace the sign at Village Bakery and Cafe. You want to give us a little explanation?
Yes, so we're looking to replace the previous sign that we had there, which has since been vandalized at some point over the last year or so. Some of the letters were removed from the sign. So we're looking to, instead of update or instead of replace the letters that were missing, we want to update with a new design that just lists our full name for the bakery.
Okay. Are you using the exact same lettering as the other sign?
Same style of lettering. It'll be smaller to fit within the space.
Okay. I'm very familiar with the signage because I walk by that every day. However, for future, I think if we would have had a photo of what it looked like now with the missing letters to include in the packet, that would have helped. But
Sure.
I do know that, so. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Ku? Or Q?
This is
Or?
Virginia Searle for Marina's information, so, because you won't know our voices yet. I just want to verify that there is no lighting at that sign now, nor do you intend to add any as part of this application.
No, we don't intend to add any additional lighting.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions or anything else that needs to be clarified from the packet that you've already had received?
I'm
Ken,
in
are you?
good shape, thank you.
Mark, did you have something to say?
Yeah, no, I think this is fine. It's perfect the way it is.
Okay.
I think
How
you did a
about
good job replacing it.
Ken, do you have
I
anything?
think it's good.
Okay. How about Bill McBride?
I'm happy with it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Jeff, are you feel comfortable with it?
Did you say Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff,
I don't want to
Jeff
leave you
Turner?
off.
Jeff Turner?
I'm fine.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a formal motion, or would you like me to do it since I have my motion paper right in front of me?
I will make the motion. I have mine pulled up as well, Lisa.
Thank you, Ginny.
At a meeting of
Second.
the HPB on whatever the date is today, February 8th, 2021, the following motion is made. I move that the board approve as submitted the application for a sign at 5 State Street. This motion is made by Virginia Searle. Is that what you mean by made by, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. For the property at 5 State Street, which I already said. Let's see. No conditions. I would like to state as finding of facts that the sign is in compliance with the Village of Pittsford building design standards and presents no negative impact to the resource.
I second that. All in favor? Marina, you want to take a roll call?
I will. Member McBride?
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay. Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes, please.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Okay.
Great, motion is made and granted. Thank you, Tucker.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Have a good
so
night.
we're moving on. Is Ian McDonald here yet?
Hi, yes, I'm on my phone instead of my computer because my computer sucks.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so Ian, it looks like you are with Towpath in your brand new big building over there.
Can you believe it?
I can, and it looks amazing.
It's gonna be fancy.
It is. So you have a nice sign that you would like to put up. We all have pictures and descriptions of the sign. Do you want to say anything more about the sign other than what you've submitted?
Not really. I think my drawing was pretty self-explanatory about what materials I'm using. I also put a little detailed drawing in the corner of that first page so you can see how I want to install them. And, you know, we're doing this in a black, it looks like, it's going to be a black acrylic, and we're going to have aluminum studs so that we don't get any rust weeping coming down the face of the building as time goes on. 100% silicone that we'll use to install into the building. And then, of course, you probably saw what I'm doing in the very middle between the two sets of windows above the door. It's a small piece, and you really can't see a lot of the detail, but that's going to be a cool little piece that's half-inch thick, clear acrylic. It's going to look like glass. It'll be back decorated with the company logo.
Great. And is there any lighting at all in this application?
No, there is not.
Okay, I don't have any questions for the applicant. Anybody else? Ginny?
I have no questions. They've all been answered through the course of our discussion already.
Thank you, Jenny. Anybody else? Mark, how do you feel? Any problems?
I feel good. I feel very good about that. It's and I think the move that you guys made to that building is a real step up, and I'm happy to see that. You got a great shop there.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Ken
and the
Morrow?
upstairs where the showroom is very cool.
Ken Morrow, anything about the
Yeah,
sign?
you did a great job on that.
Are you taking the whole building?
Yes.
I'm actually not with Towpath. I'm the sign guy. I'm Ian McDonald with Historic Signs.
Okay.
So I'm representing Scott because I'm doing the design work and the fabrication of the sign. So I can't really speak to that question.
I can. They are taking the whole building, and if you go, you can actually go and see it. It's upstairs. It's beautiful. It's done very well. Bill McBride, anything about the sign?
I
No,
have no
I'm-
questions or concerns about the sign. I like it.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, just a little clarification, not to go against you, Lisa, but Mike Reynolds is moving his office into the right-hand side of that building. Towpath is taking over. Yeah, Towpath took over probably 2/3 of the building and the second floor, and then Mike Reynolds' new offices are going to be in the right side, lower of that building.
Where the window issue was. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So does anybody want to make a motion?
If no one else is prepared to, I'm happy to.
Okay, thank you, Ginny.
Maybe in the meantime, Lisa, you can send that form to the fellows again.
Okay.
Let's see. At a meeting of the HPB on February 8th, I think it's still the 8th, 2021, the following motion was made to approve the application as submitted for a sign made by Ian McDonald for Towpath Bike for a sign, sorry, may have said that already, located at 21 Shane Place. For findings of fact, I would state as the previous application, the application for this sign complies with the Village of Pittsford Building Design Standards and presents no negative impact to the resource.
Thank you. I will second that motion. Marina, you want to do a roll call, please?
I can. Member McBride?
Agreed.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes, thank you.
And member, I think that was all of you, actually. Motion carries.
No, I haven't voted yet.
Oh, Ginny.
Carl, okay.
Yes. Lisa, did you vote?
Well, I seconded. I guess I probably have to say yes. Yes.
Yes, you still have to vote.
Yes. So I vote yes.
Okay, member Crowe. Great. Motion carries.
Great. Okay, Ian, good job. We're looking forward to seeing it up there. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Our
All right,
next.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Our next applicant is Joe Marone with 37 South Main Street. It's another sign. Is Joe here? Let's see if I've got him on my list. I see Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, are you here? Oh, yeah, I see Joe. Joe, you might be on mute.
He's muted.
Can you hear me now?
I can now.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Okay. So,
Yes, sign for 37 South Main Street.
yes, okay. So, do you want to say anything about your sign?
No, I mean we have the quote drawn up from Art Parts. From our understanding, it meets the specifications. It's the same size as the sign that's right below it, which is Acupuncture LIV. It's just our company's name, and we just moved in from downtown. Just moved out to Pittsford about a month ago, and happy to be happy to be here, and just want to put our name up there.
Great. Joe, I have a question for you. The colors that you've chosen, it looks like a bit of a fire engine orange red with white letters. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, it should be red and white. Yes,
Okay.
with white letters.
Is that a color, is it your trademark logo? I mean, do you have any flexibility with the coloring at all?
It is. We included the second image with the white with the red on it in case the first one was too red. But that is our logo color. And it's
Red
closer
and
to,
white is your logo color, is that right?
red and white, yes. It's
Okay.
closer to what I'd say is like a true red instead of a red orange. I'm not sure why it's appearing that way. I can
The
get you
Computer color rendition is not great.
Yeah,
What did-
that's. So traditionally in historic buildings and historic properties, we like using a bit more historic colors, which are a little bit more grayer. They have a little bit more depth in them. Would you be interested in doing anything a little bit more in historic color swatching, or are you pretty set on that bright red? I mean, I know it's hard to tell because I can't get a good sense of that red. Does anybody else have any? Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, I'll just cut in real quick. So I'm looking at the color code here. It's titled as a crimson. If there's a messaging function in here, I can give you the hex code and the RGB code to get the exact color. Would that be helpful?
I think it would be difficult for the board members to pull up that color rendering. I know because of my professional experience, I have some idea of what you mean by that, but I would have a hard time pulling that color up.
Okay.
I would just say that in the way of color, the reason why for board members, the reason why I was asking for a copy of the sign ordinance earlier, we discussed whether or not the board actually has the ability to make a determination on color selection by the owner. And Jeff verified last month, I believe, that that is in fact the case, that we can comment and request a particular color. Apropos of that, my personal opinion, and this is just a personal opinion, this is not historic guideline anything, but as far as colors go, I think that an orangey red works better with the blue that's below it than a real true crimson red. On the other hand, if crimson red is your trademark color, then I guess I'm okay with it because I don't think it will be that disruptive or that incompatible with the sign that's already there.
So to be clear, you do have that kind of jurisdiction, but there would have to be findings of fact about why what he's proposing initially and what he wants is not compatible with that structure and the signage and all the rest of it.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
There are a number of signs. There is one existing sign on the building already, and there are quite a number of signs on the other portion of the building and on adjacent buildings. So there's not really any cohesive color plan for the buildings in that block, if you will. So as I said, my feeling is that my opinion is that a rusty red would be more compatible with the blue of the existing sign, but if that's his trademark color, I don't have an objection.
Okay.
I agree to exactly the same thing.
Who's that? Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Ken Morrow, do you have any comment?
I don't have any comment.
Okay. Bill McBride?
I agree with where Ginny ended up. Yes, I think because it's their logo color, they have a right to retain that, and we don't have much authority to abuse it.
Okay. Is there any more questions for Joe? If not, does Ginny, do you want to make a motion, or does anybody else want to make the motion?
No,
Okay.
I'm happy. If it's got to be in the format that you sent, I'm happy to do it. Excuse me.
Thank you.
At a meeting of the HPB on February 8th, 2021, I finally remembered what the heck the day is. I made a motion that the HPB approve as submitted the application for a sign made by, sorry, I have to put my page back, Joe Marone at 37 South Main Street. Let's see. I don't believe I have anything to say about conditions, no conditions. For findings of fact, again, the sign, the application is submitted, appears to comply with the Village of Pittsburgh building design standards for signs and presents no negative impact to the historic resource.
Okay, I second.
I
Marina,
second Bill McBride.
Marina, you want to take roll call, please?
Okay. Chairperson Cove,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yes.
Member Harrington,
Yes, thank you.
Member McBride,
Yes.
Member Searle,
Yes.
motion carries.
Great, thank you. Okay, Joe, go for it. We're welcome to the village. We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Take care.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's see, we have Michael Camarella at 36 Sutherland Street. Is Michael here?
Yes, how are you?
Hi, Michael, good. Okay, so this is for a fence.
Correct.
Just for clarification, I did talk to Steve, the building inspector. This fence is to surround an in-ground pool, which is already in place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So just to clarify that the in-ground pool is already in place, and I will let Michael kind of tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, it's just this is, I'm going to basically turn this over to, we're working with the designer, Tom Johnson. He's on the line as well. He kind of explains to me, but basically we're just connecting. If you look at from the front of the property, the house, there's a wooden fence that Boardwalk did several years ago, before we moved in, actually, that is between us and the house next to us, adjacent. And we're basically connecting the house, corner of the house, to that wooden fence. It's the only thing that you'll see from the road behind the house, part of the addition that kind of connects to the carriage house, and then from the carriage house connects back to the fence along the rear of the property. So we're here today to discuss this one section of the fence in the front right corner of the house. But I'm going to turn it over to Tom Johnson to explain the brains behind this design.
Hi, everybody. This is Tom. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So generally, the concept here for the landscape design for all around the pool is that all of the fence is going to be buried in a hedge. So anything that is notated as a black metal fence will actually not even be visible. It's going to be an evergreen, probably a yew hedge. So we're trying to have the least amount of fence possible, to be honest. We do need access for the lawnmower or any equipment to get into the pool area. And so on the front, we have what I'm calling a Cotswold style wooden gate. It's a pair, they're 5 feet wide and 4 feet tall. I think on the drawings that you received from the fence maker, not from me, it says that this is all 54 inches tall. But my understanding is that a pool enclosure only needs to be 48 inches high. So we sent some of my sketches, which I don't see in the meeting packet, to Steve. I don't know if Steve has those or if he shared them with everybody. But there were pencil sketches of what the gate was going to look like and how it was being constructed. Do you have that?
I do not. Does anybody else?
Neither do I. And
Well,
if you wouldn't mind telling us where these two different fences would be relative to the two houses that are there, please.
Okay, in the packet, you'll see a photograph of the front of the house, and you'll see the existing wooden fence that's running between the two houses. So we're gonna. Oh yeah,
okay, got it. Yep.
Right, so we need to put a fence across there so that for the pool enclosure. So generally, centered in that space is going to be a pair of these wooden gates. And if you look at the bottom of that same page in the packet, on the right-hand side, you see these like Cotswold English style gates. So the idea was to sort of go with the English Tudor style of the house, do something that's very innocuous and charming. And this will be unscalable because there is going to be, it's known as transparent link fencing, so the kids can't scale it. That will be attached to the outside. It's basically very fine metal mesh. But as you're driving along, what you're going to see is what you see there on the bottom right-hand corner of that photograph page in the bracket. And then the photograph on the left, which was provided by the fence builder, or the metal fence provider, they're just going to do they've notated that as being 54 inches, but I think we can do 48 inches. And it's just a very basic, non-scalable fence that is going to be then buried inside of a hedge. You won't even see this. So the only thing you'll see are those wooden gates.
So Tom, just let me clarify this. So the wooden gate, the height of the wooden gate is going to be the same height as the metal fence, correct?
Yep. Yes.
And if you're looking at it, you're going to see metal fence. Well, if there were no hedges there, it would be metal fence, metal fence, the center gate, which is wood.
That's right.
And you're going to have shrubs in front of the metal gate, and the wood will be visible.
That's right. So we're planting the shrubs right next to the metal fence, and so the shrubs are actually going to be growing through the fence.
Is that
the fence will be absolutely on both sides.
On the outside or inside?
We're going to plant the bushes on the street side, but still, once it's growing, the fence will not even be visible from either side.
So let me understand this. I had trouble understanding when I saw your visual why you had a metal fence and then a wooden Cotswold gate. Okay, I guess now your rationale is that, and I was a little troubled by the fact that you were mixing the two. But I guess your rationale is that the metal fence is not going to be visible because of vegetation, and the Cotswold gate fits the character of the house better than a metal does. Is that correct?
That's exactly it. Okay. And the reason that we chose this metal fence is that this is a standard pool enclosure, which means for safety reasons, it's the right fence to use. Right. And also it's black because black is the thing that you see the least once it's embedded in the bushes. So I guarantee, even as soon as we plant those bushes, you won't see it.
Yep. Okay.
You won't have to wait 5 years for them to grow. We're getting bushes that are 4 feet tall.
I have a question on the Cotswold gate, which I think is a great style. Where is that going to be on this top picture?
On the top picture, it's going to be so the Camarella's house is the house that you see on the left-hand side.
Yes.
And then the fence that you see in the middle there, that's separating the two houses. That's the next door neighbors all the way to the right. So this gate is going to be centered between the fence and the house. So as Lisa described, it's going to be metal, and then Cotswold gate, and then metal. But remember, the metal is going to be invisible. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent pictures after requests from Lisa. I took pictures from the road and drew in the fence with the gate in the middle to everybody's emails. You also should have had a design for the Cotswold gate in your emails. It did not get in the packet because it didn't come till after the packets were made. But you each should have a picture of the design for the Cotswold gate, and you each should have a picture that shows the gate in the middle of 2 6-foot sections on either side of the gate.
Right. In fact, if you look at the plan that is the next page in the packet, you'll see in blue is the metal fence, and in red is where the gate is going, and it kind of indicates, you can kind of get an idea of where that is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like very innocuous and classic. And my personal feeling is I want to see the least amount of fence possible. Like the whole point is to make the fence go away.
Sure. Okay. Or make the existing piece of the fence that you can see consistent with the architecture character of the house, right?
Perfect, yeah.
This is Jenny Searle speaking, Marina. I have a comment and a question. My comment is that in the past, we have typically not identified vegetation as permanent and something that can be used to disguise or hide construction on the property. So I'm just putting that out there for the board. I think it's a great idea. I have no objection to it, but just it's something that I think would need to be addressed in the findings of fact if the application is approved. My question is, why the heck do you need a 10-foot gate? 10 feet is big. I mean, what kind of equipment do you expect to take back there? And because if you needed a big truck to address something, it would be very difficult to get it. Let me orient myself. It would be difficult to get it to that location, given the slope of the driveway and the slope of the yard. So why is there a 10-foot fence? I recognize you need a gate. I'm fine with the gate. What I'm questioning is the 10-foot. That seems very large to me.
Okay, I understand your question, and I'm actually going to let the house owner answer because this was the size that he wanted to get vehicles in. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, there's not really anything particular. Sorry, there's nothing particular. First of all, the property is actually, believe it or not, accessing from the neighbor's driveway, from the Gerstner's property. It's right there. It's like 5 steps going up their driveway. I bring my Christmas tree up their driveway all the time, just because I unload it from the dairy. I get it from the dairy. I pull up their driveway and then I just walk it into my back door. Having a 10-foot section is really just, to me, it's more scalable with the size of the house. To put a little 4-foot gate for one, given the size of the house from the road, I think would look a little out of place for one thing. I think it kind of has a very nice appeal given the size of that opening. I think is I can't have the drawings up as I'm looking at this screen at the same time, but I think the 34 feet across the from the house to the fence there. And most equipment, I have 6 children, and we're planning on having a graduation party. Sometimes you have what are those tents? The big white tents come in, so it'd be easy access for a truck to come in and bring something in.
And would they come in from your neighbor's driveway to deliver that tent, deliver and install the tent?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's just
also, Jenny, can I just interject one thing also? The photograph that we have on the bottom right-hand corner, that's like our Cotswold Gate inspiration, that's approximately the scale of what this is going to look like. Ours will be 2 gates that latch in the middle, 2 5-foot gates.
I understand that.
All right.
I understand that. I just think that from the scale of the drawing that you sent with the colored lines, and I'm assuming they're approximately to scale, it appears that 10 feet is larger than the 2 flanking sides. I just think I think the size of the gate is excessive for what you might be using it for.
It's
That's personal
approximately 30.
preference. That's personal preference to the owner. That's not relevant to historical things that you guys should be looking at. No offense.
I beg to differ with you, Steve. This is a visual impact on the resource.
Let me ask Tom. Tom, you're a landscape architect, is that correct?
Yeah, and an architect, yeah, both.
Okay. So then you do consider mass and scale as a major consideration when you're doing a project, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do you feel about the size of the gate as far as mass and scale with the property and how you're placing it?
Well, I do know that the client wanted to be able to drive a regular vehicle in there, or like a small truck kind of vehicle. So that requires about 9 feet. If you think of your garage door on your house, you need about 8 to 9 feet to get a vehicle in.
Right, I understand what the client wants, but I'm asking you from your experience.
And so that's why I thought that this gate was particularly appropriate to their house. Their house is definitely absolutely sort of like this English Tudor style. And so we're going with this very proportionate, like this is a photograph of England.
Right, and we don't deny that the style, we're talking about mass and scale, we're talking about size. So what
Right, so
I'm
that's what I'm saying. I think that it feels appropriate because the scale of the design works with what the problem was put before me. I mean, could it be a 6-foot wide gate just to get a lawnmower in? Sure, why not? It doesn't have to be a 4-foot gate, but again, that I think is the preference of the house owner. It's not really my job to dictate that.
And let me add this too. Having had a house previously with a pool, and we had a small gate, and on 2 occasions they had to take down some of the fence to get a bigger truck into the pool area for various services. So I'm not sure that a 10-foot wide fence, maybe it's a little bit smaller, but I'm not sure that that's inappropriate for function of access to that pool for bigger machinery.
If you look at,
This is Jenny again. Thank you, Bill, for that information. My point here is to provide documentation to support the preferred size of the gate. When it was first stated, when we began this conversation, I don't recall that you said that the owner wants to be able to drive a truck through there, an ordinary sized pickup truck. That makes sense to me. So what I was looking for is supportable documentation for the size of the gate. Plus, I think it will not be very visible either without the vegetation because of the grade difference between the street and the location on the property where the fence will be.
yeah, if you actually look at the design, because you have 2 6-foot panels, then the 2 5-foot gate sections, and 2 6-foot panels, it pretty much evens out the design too, comparatively. If there was no vegetation there, the gate would look proportional to the 2 sections of fencing on either side of it.
Yeah, I was going to just make that point that given the delta, what you have left after the 10-foot gate is, I think it's a 34-foot section, if I'm not mistaken. Steve and Tom, I think it's 34 feet. So 34 minus 10 is 24. You're left with, with 12 feet on either side. These fences come in 6-foot sections. You don't have this weird different size things, not that you're going to see them anyways, but it just kind of proportionally fits great with the house.
And I guess one more, Ginny, just to address the proportion of the gate. The other thing from the design point, if you look at that photograph of the Cotswold Gate, you see how the posts on either end of it are much taller than the gate itself. And we're going to do that same thing. And the idea is that our bushes that are going to be concealing the metal on either side are going to be that height or higher. So the gate really is going to feel kind of in balance with what's going on.
I get it.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to say again, what I was after is supporting documentation for what you're asking for. And at this point, I believe we have it.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so do I have anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
Not for me.
Okay, so Ginny, would you like?
I have one more question. Does the board feel that we need to make some sort of statement about the vegetation disguising the fence? Or are we voting on just the fence with or without the vegetation?
Well, you made the statement that we have never used vegetation as a way to disguise anything. So it's not going to matter.
It's also not included
in the application.
The vegetation is included on the application.
Right.
I think that we need to be voting on the fence disregarding the proposed vegetation, just so all board members are clear.
Remember that when you screen air conditioners, generators, that sort of thing, you can use vegetation, so that becomes a condition of the screening approval. There's no reason that vegetation could not be approved as a condition to the approval of the fence, if the board sees it that way.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a big help.
Okay. So Ginny, would you like to make a motion?
I'd be happy to.
Thank
At
you.
a meeting of the HPB on February 8th, 2021, the following motion was made. to approve the application for a fence as submitted with the following condition. The condition is that that yew bushes be planted. Do we want to, Tom, do you have a spacing for that?
It is going to be a solid hedge, so it's
What is the spacing? Okay.
let's say every 3 feet, but it's going to be solid.
Okay, that yew bushes be planted to provide solid screening of the metal fence that is part of this application. For findings of fact, I would like to add that the fence as proposed meets the Village of Pittsburgh building design standards and does not present a negative impact to the historic resource.
I second. Marina? Roll call?
Oh. Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes, thank you.
Member Cove?
Yes.
And Member Searle?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Look
Okay,
forward to
thank
seeing it. Thank you. All right, moving right along, we have one last application, and that is Thomas Beidenbach at 9 Jackson Park for garage conversion. Is Thomas here?
I don't
Thomas,
see him. I don't see him. Let me give him a call real quick. Maybe he didn't get the email today. We were having problems with the system.
Okay.
So while Steve is calling Tom, did anybody, or did people go over and take an actual look at the property? Because I really
Yes, I did.
it really helped me to distinguish what they're trying to do, because it was kind of hard to figure that out by looking at the drawing. And what I liked about the project is that, you know, I'm always one for garages should be hidden and, you know, not visual. But the nice thing about it is the garage that they're going to convert gives you beautiful canal views, which are really wasted on a car. So I'm really excited about the fact that they're going to use that space to view the canal from their property.
Let me add this. I think Steve went over today, took more pictures from the canal, across the canal, but I'm not sure they got disseminated because of the village email problem. Did everybody see those?
No.
No, I haven't.
I'm finding the photos that I already had and visiting the site.
Yeah, I was able to see it too. I looked at it from this canal as well. Marina, how you doing?
Doing great. Just taking notes.
While I have the board present, one of the things we're finding is sending out the packets. They tend to be very digitally large, and it's becoming a challenge for us to get them to you with all the pictures and things. We might have to go to an outside service such as Dropbox for you to pick up your packets, do the electronic versions. I hate to do that because I understand that it's more convenient just to click an email, but the problem is trying to give you all the detail. If we compress them too much, you lose detail. And I think in this case scenario, especially for you, you want all the detail.
Well, what's wrong with what I do, which is you produce hard copies for everybody, and I stop by and pick them up.
That's what I do.
Well,
that's fine with me. But Dorothea, when I was still working, the office had for a while, because we didn't feel we needed the higher level professional version. There's a free version of file transferring program. The name of it totally escapes me, but I can find it out for you tomorrow. And you just upload it. People get an email, and then you download it from your email. It's like Dropbox. You get full size documents. You can send very large files. I'll get that information for you tomorrow.
That would be fabulous, because I noticed with trying to send the reminder, which didn't go to the board, that the file was so big, we had to compress. And I hate for you guys not to get what you're supposed to get. Especially given the pandemic, not everybody being comfortable coming into the office. So as we move forward, we like to at least offer to get you the full packet. Obviously, the full packet is posted online. Understand that as well. So if there is a problem, we could always just have you review the packet online. Okay.
Couple things. I just talked to Mr. Bidenbeck. He was unaware, so he is signing on now. And what Dorothea said, we have a problem when we get like the elevation drawings. Trying to scan them and copy them in doesn't work sometimes, or making copies for the packet, but scanning them in on the computer, they come out a lot cleaner. So unfortunately, some of the things have to use a combo between the email. It has a better version sometimes than our printed version on the packet.
Yeah, that is true.
Dorothea and Marina, because I have senior moments, the name of the program is called We Transfer, W-E-We Transfer. I think if you Google it, you can probably find out how to get it and how to use it. It was very easy for the office, and the village might want to invest in a professional version, but we used it for many years, transferring large documents, both specifications and drawings, through that service, and it was easy to use both for the sender and the receiver, and for a long time we used a free version.
Perfect. Just so we can get the packets to you a lot cleaner. I hate to push them.
Okay. So let's move on. We have our applicant here. So I'm looking for okay, so Tom, are you here?
He is not here yet.
Oh.
I just like to say I read Lisa's article in, what is it, Pittsburgh?
Neighbor.
Yeah, I thought it was very well written.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it's very good.
Good. Yeah, we've gotten great response from the community. Well, first of all, we got Jeff from his wife seeing the article. I've had lots of residents comment about the usefulness of it, and they're very excited about reading more and kind of understanding more about preservation. So I think it's going over quite well. So I'm really happy with the ability to do that every month.
Could you send that? Could you send a copy to me? Because as a non-village resident, I don't get that.
Oh, sure. Oh,
thanks.
So Jeff, how did you get it then? Jeff, you know what, Ginny, you don't have to be a village resident.
You know, Ginny, you can call and they'll send it to you.
Right, Pittsford Neighbor is for the whole town of Pittsford. It should be a town. It's a town publication. Okay,
I'm not familiar with it.
Huh? Yeah, because it usually comes in the mail free. It's a free small magazine.
It's a wonderful piece.
I don't remember ever seeing it, but I'll look.
Yeah. So Dorothy, are we having trouble with the person signing on, or what?
That I can't say because I don't see that. I just don't see him logged in yet.
It's just the phone number.
I think Steve was trying to get him.
Yeah, Steve. It sounds like Steve's working with him.
On your laptop.
By the way, folks, we're not going to have an executive session on that letter tonight. We don't need to do that. The mayor has been in contact with those folks, and they know they have a right to resubmit something new.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for that clarification.
We were a little concerned about the possibility of a lawsuit. That's not going to happen. It can't happen.
Yeah, I didn't get that sense from reading the letter, but there's, we always want to be careful.
When I read that letter and Jonathan commented that he knew me and he was a friend of my son's in junior high, I all of a sudden remembered who he was. But what I remember about him most was that he and my son and two other boys rode their bikes on the bike path down to Genesee Valley Park and were mugged by kids who wanted to steal their bikes.
Oh,
An
Oh, my
adult,
God.
an adult came along and disrupted the mugging, and they rode their bikes back as fast as they could. And Jonathan had the biggest knot on his head I think I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
I think also one of the resonating messages that I got from the letter was, I think what really made this applicant most upset is hearing that we as a board did not go on site and look at the property. So I would like to just relay that when we've got something this large, that our applicants deserve us to just take a look at the site and visit in person. So I think that was what was most upsetting to them is that not all of us did that. So for future reference, please, when we've got something that big, if you can just take 5 minutes to go to the site, it's going to really help.
Well, I think there was another element that was upsetting to them, and that was that their neighborhood, their immediate neighborhood, had a lot of houses that were very massive on the size of the property. And now they did not address that in their presentation and make that as clear as they should have.
Well, I wouldn't consider the neighborhood that they stated immediate. There's a big, I mean, the village is not that big. So I think that there's a huge difference between Maple Street and South Main Street, which was my home. So there is a significant difference. I mean, we're close in proximity, but the flavor of the environment is very different from Maple Street to South Main Street. Now, granted, maybe Rand might be a little closer, but even still, it still doesn't have the quaint canal side flavor that Maple Street has. So I don't know if I would buy that.
Lisa, your applicant is here.
Okay,
Mr.
great.
Black is here.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, so welcome, Tom. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't know about the meeting. I misunderstood, so I apologize.
No problem. You're here now. We've got all the paperwork. We've, as a board, have visited your site and we've looked through all your documentation. And we're interested to hear about your project. Is there anything that you want to say that you don't think is represented in your documentation?
No, not really, but really this garage was built originally with the house, so it's all the same structure where it's the block like the house and the exterior like the house. And seeing our house is so small, we don't have a view of the canal. We actually, look across the street. We thought it'd be nice to make that a family room. And then we have a view of the canal in our room, which would be nice. And honestly, I don't need 4 garages. The house has 4 garages and a carport. Because the previous owner was in construction. But, it's just such a beautiful view and a great area that I just thought it would really enhance the property. And
Did they add the additional garages on at a later date? Do you know?
yeah, the 3 garages in the end, I think were put on in the 70s because it's different construction. It's wood and T111.
Okay.
Well, the rest of the house is cement with stucco over it.
Yep.
And basically, it already has a bathroom and a laundry room in there that the previous owner put in that room, but the rest of it is just garage.
Sure.
And so we just thought it'd be nice to convert it all into one room.
So what I do need for clarification is, you had talked about window replacement with the same type of windows that are in the house.
Yes.
However, I know style looks very similar, but there's been a question about materials.
Well, it's going to be the fiberglass material, which is the high-end quality stuff, because I know there's no vinyl allowed. So I thought I would go with the fiberglass grade on the Marvin windows.
Do you
and they
have
would make
any?
it to match the previous windows with the
Do you
same
have any
grills.
Do you have any existing windows of that construction on the house?
Could you reword that? Do I have any existing?
Existing windows anywhere in the house of that construction. You said you're following the same style.
Oh,
But
yes,
I'm
in some of those pictures, you'll see that the style with the cross grates. I think I took a picture too of the bathroom window. So it's basically trying to make it where it goes up to like the roof line, like the rest of the windows do. So that whole garage area would just blend right in.
I think
And
it's,
that looks so.
I think you're misunderstanding the question. What we're
Oh,
looking for is, do you have any other windows in the house that are made of that fiberglass material?
no, they're all wood. It's old Anderson windows that leak like a sieve, and I also at a later date would like to replace them all so they'd all be the same quality and lose less heat because I can hear road traffic really bad. I have to sleep with the fan on. But
This is Jenny
first things
Searle,
first,
Mr.
I guess.
Beidenbach. This is Jenny Searle, Mr. Beidenbach. The windows that you are proposing are casement windows with the family room having one window that is a picture window with casements on the side. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Are there any other casement windows on the house?
They're all casement.
They're all casement. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
okay. So let me summarize what we just concluded. The windows you're proposing, the new windows you're proposing, are in fact the same style and same casement windows.
Yes.
But the material of those windows are very different from the all wood windows. Is that right?
Yes, I think so. Because I think the guys at Rochester Colonial said it's a fiberglass blend that he told me the town likes these because they're basically the same as a wooden window, but a little better quality. So I don't think they would actually look any different. I'm not, I had some of the pictures in there, but they couldn't really send me an exact picture of what I wanted because I guess it's going to be custom made, these windows, to conform with our other windows. Because the original windows are old Anderson windows.
This is Jenny Searle again. Are the old windows wooden or are they clad at all? Are they aluminum clad or are they wood or?
They're all wood. They're all wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, I have another question. So the large window that you're going to have that's going to face the canal, I
Yes.
see you have, the center is all solid window. And the one on the house, there is a center kind of separation, or I don't know what you call that, Ginny. You're going to have to help me with the word there.
What are you talking about? That's a mullion. That's
Yes.
a mullion.
Okay, so the mullion that goes across that center window, you don't have that on this one. Are you not going to have it on this one?
What do you mean the mullion? You mean the bottom part?
No, may I interject here, Lisa?
Sure.
And Mr. Beidenbach, she's talking about the window that I just asked you about, the large picture window with the two casements on either side.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
Lisa, and for other board members, when this house was built in 1948, and I'm going to assume that the window in the photograph you were pointing out, Lisa, is an original window. Windows were not, it's called mulled at the factory. They put there's three separate windows and they are joined together at the factory and it comes in as a single unit. When this house was constructed, they did not do that. They had three separate windows and there is a space between them. If any of your old homes, and I think everybody all the board members live in older homes, if you have paired windows, there's going to be a mullion between them. And it might be 4 inches, it might be 6 inches. In my house, I've got 8 and 10 inch mullions that separate my paired windows. Lisa, if you have a concern about the size of the mullion, the difference in the size of the mullion between the existing original windows and the large picture window, largest combination of windows that is being proposed, they can be prepared and installed separately with a mullion that matches the size of the existing window existing original window. They do not have to be factory mold.
Okay, but that significantly changes the look from what they're proposing here, because right now that center window has no mullion across the middle of it. Correct?
I don't think.
No, because the picture windows didn't have any mullion across it. Let me walk you over to the picture window.
I can't see you. I'm just looking at this picture right here. Can you guys see this? See that picture?
See, there's the original window on the inside. Do you see that?
No, because I can't see. For some reason, I can't see you on my screen.
Uh-oh.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Lisa?
Uh-huh.
That may be a storm window. Mr. Beidenbach, is there a storm window on that existing picture window?
Yes, on the outside there is.
That's what you're seeing, Lisa. You're not seeing the prime window. You're seeing a storm window with a divider to support two separate pieces of glass.
Got it. Okay, so there won't be a storm window on this. So there's not going to be a divider in the center of that.
No, they will not.
He's getting more energy efficient windows that don't require a storm window.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
So Bill McBride, can you give me some thoughts on materials, please?
Well, the rest of the house is all wood, solid wood windows put in what, 1948?
Yes.
These windows are highly visible that are not solid wood windows. The question is that this board needs to address then is it highly apparent from a public way, which would be out there on the water on the canal or across the canal, that these are not solid wood windows like the rest of the windows? Is that everybody agree with that?
I don't necessarily agree. I think that they will not be, the difference won't be particularly visible because the view from the canal is mostly those garage doors. And secondarily, the board is getting window replacement applications at a significant rate for homes and buildings of this era. And we're approving fiberglass windows for those replacement windows. I personally would not want to encumber Mr. Beidenbach with wood windows for this newer construction when it's possible that within the next 5 or 10 years, he may enter into a window replacement campaign and request windows that are not made of wood. And then we would have insisted that he have wood windows in a, now, if that elevation is highly visible from the canal, but I don't believe that other windows on the house are particularly visible from that vantage point. So the incompatibility of material is minimal at that distance, but also I think that elevation is separated visually from the elevations that have original wooden windows, and I personally have no objection to the fiberglass for that reason.
So I want to just make a statement that we remember our responsibility is that not only are we talking about visibility, but we're talking about architectural integrity as well. So yes, people can tell us all the time that siding, you can't tell that it's not wood. We hear it all the time. You're too far away. You'll never know. And that could be the case. But when you're talking about architectural integrity of the home, the way it was built with all wood windows, are we holding strong with that? Because we have in the past. That's where I think Bill, that's why I've asked Bill, because we've been through this before.
My argument is that it has, in my tenure on the board, that has not been the case, that we have insisted on wood replacement windows in every case.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got cut off. I had to redial in. Bill McBride. Well, but that's certainly a valid argument for consideration.
What if we replaced all the windows?
You mean the existing wood windows in the house?
Yeah, those leaking ones. I didn't
Well,
want to drop another.
that's another
They're
application.
$30,000 to replace the other windows, so I didn't really want to spend $70,000 on windows. Wanted to concentrate on the addition, but down the road I would like to because they're very inefficient. I hear the potholes on the bridge when the trailers go over, and because they're old, they're original, and they have to be custom made. I've had people look at them in Anderson. Anderson doesn't make them anymore like that, but I guess through Rochester Cologne you can have custom made, but they're saying we have to go to Marvin because they're the only strong enough window to, I guess, fill that spot. And also he told me, I mean, I don't know. You guys know more than I do. I'm just trying to fix up the place.
Yeah, that's another
If
application. Yeah.
if we look at our design standards, there's a whole section on windows and about how we as preservationists try to maintain and repair original wood windows. I mean, that's kind of the way our design standards start out. So I'm just saying that we've always said to applicants that repairing original wood windows is the way we always try to go.
Well,
the thing is, he's not replacing a window at all. You don't have a choice here of repairing a wood window.
I know, Steve. I know.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about. I'm talking about. He's saying that someday he wants to get rid of all of those. I'm just bringing.
That's not the case in front of us right now, though. The only thing you have to judge on right now is a new window in that space.
Correct. Right.
Lisa,
right.
This is Jenny Searle again. You may recall a couple of months ago, maybe as long ago as 4 months ago, we were discussing replacement. There was an application for replacement windows, and Maria provided us guidance on replacement materials. This house is 1948. It's a post-war house, which is the same era as the other windows that Maria provided guidance for. So I would refer back to that guidance from her, although I don't have it right in front of me.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. She what she said was post-war houses operate from a different standard than pre-war.
Ken, I know that you've talked a lot about windows. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking over there?
Well, I looked at the house, on both the canal side as much as I could see and the opposite side. I don't believe that Mr. Biedenbach is, he doesn't have like the traditional type windows in this garage to replace, which is usually, or to fix, so to speak, which is usually the issue that I, try to clarify with people that, they have something they can do with that. So, I think the question is, should they be made out of wood and meet a design, material standard at, price Y, or, or should they, be made out of, say, this fiberglass material at price X. So, and that's probably the main thing. Did you, Mr. Biedenbach, did you get a price for wood windows? I see your price here is like 20,000 for the. By the way, how many windows do you get for 20,000?
Not many. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a picture window.
Okay. So,
I could have like an Anderson thing try to price out, which I tried to do originally, but then the Anderson rep wanted me to do the Anderson renewal, and they come out to about $45,000. It seemed like a big scam to me. And then when I met with Rochester Colonial, they said, well, why go to that style? Because the windows now, the wooden windows don't have the integrity of the old ones because they're not from old growth forests, and you're going to get warpage and leakage eventually where the fiberglass stays true forever. So I was just going on his line, which may be salesman BS or whatever, but that's what I heard.
Mr. McBride, can I add this to that? I don't think that price is the issue that we've got on the table here right now.
Right.
This is Jenny Searle again. The other concern, the other consideration on windows this size is that the sills, the window sills, the exterior portion at the bottom of the window is apt to be finger jointed wood.
No, those are all what do you call it? Stone here. They're granite, all those edges. They're not wood.
The windows themselves won't have any, well, in any case.
I think they have wood interiors, not exterior.
The consideration I would have if you were required to get wooden windows. This is a consideration if you're required to have wood windows. A lot of the windows now are made, wood windows are made with finger jointed material.
Okay.
They cut the wood in a zigzag pattern and then put it together like your fingers like this to make a longer piece. And if that wood is not kept painted and painted well, you get serious leaks in that finger jointing. And just this summer, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law had to replace a full bay window for it. And in fact, all the windows on their house, and they're Marvin windows in a masonry building. All the windows are letting water into their exterior walls through those finger joints. So with a window this size, I would be concerned about a wood window in the horizontal surfaces, particularly the bottom rails of the windows, if they're finger jointed, would not be durable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we have what the applicant is proposing. So if we do not have any more clarifying questions or anything to add to this.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Would the board like to consider whether or not the large picture window should have a mullion between the three windows of the same dimension as the existing similar window on the other portion of the house? It's a question I have for the board.
Right, but you're blocking his view from the purpose of the picture window to put a mullion in it. You're blocking that nice view of the canal.
No. Steve, there's already going to be some amount of wood there. You're not blocking the view.
Right.
I'm not talking about a divider across the center of the window horizontally. I'm talking about a mullion, similar to the existing window on the other section of the house. I'm just asking the question because Lisa brought it up.
Oh, so you're
they
saying
could do that, right?
1.5 inch mullion on the other window to have a 2.5 mullion on this one.
I don't know that's the fact.
Well, is it the fact? Is that what the?
Well, you know that my daughter and I made that picture for that window, so it's not exactly because Rochester Colonial couldn't come up with exact dimension because of those two side windows are going to be able to open.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could get air in there, and he kept sending me these funny looking windows on little ones, and they didn't have the same configuration, so that's why we kind of drew our own. But I'm sure they could match the mullions, right?
Ginny, I think that's a good point. I would feel much better with that. So
yeah, I would too. I agree.
I agree. So I would like to see that in our addition if the applicant feels comfortable with that. What do
Yeah,
you
so
think?
you're just saying it's matching the same kind of support that the other window has in the middle, right? Coming down.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we just have to add that when we make our motion. Does
And
anybody
I
have
could
any other
just,
questions or comments?
well, I
Okay,
have
so
a comment. What do you guys think of this idea? Do you think it
I love
enhances
it.
the property?
I love
Oh,
it.
yes.
I
I think
absolutely,
it's
No, we're fully supportive of what you want to do.
I agree
Okay.
with you. That's such a beautiful view. Why would you have a garage or car looking at it instead of human?
Exactly. And
Who's
cars
the
parking in the
previous,
street.
who's the
Yeah.
previous owner, Mr. Beidenbach? Do you know?
What's that?
Who's the previous owner?
Um, what was his name? Hang on, I'll get it. Mary Lou, what was the owner's name again? Oh, Frank. What was the last name? Frank Coster. He was actually an old guy that was on the town board and everything. He was a builder here,
Yeah, he
a
was a
custom
contractor.
home builder.
I'm familiar with his name, but I don't believe I ever encountered him at all.
His brother lived next door, and now they've sold their house, and that's the house that's got worked on a lot lately that you guys had to deal with. But yeah, that was Frank Coster. They actually owned all three houses in a row at one point. I guess they bought it after Pittsford Lumber left here years and years ago. They bought this property.
Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna move forward on this. So Ginny, would you like to make the motion on this application?
Sure. At a meeting of the HPB on February 8th, still 2021, the following motion was made to approve with conditions the modification to the garage made by Thomas Weidenbach on the property at 9 Jackson Park. The condition being on the multiple window with a picture window and flanking casement windows, that these windows not be factory mulled, but that the mullion between the picture window and the casement windows match the dimension of the existing window on what elevation of the house is it, Mr. Weidenbach?
I don't know what you mean and what elevation.
What, north,
But-
south, east, or west?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's west, the other window, and then there's another one on the east side, but that's a little different too. But they're basically all the same.
Okay,
Yep.
other windows on the house, including those on the east and west sides.
Yes, that works.
I second that. Marina, do you want to take a roll call?
Okay, Member McBride,
Yes.
a Member Garda,
Yes.
Member Harrington,
Yes, and I think they're doing a job that's going to do a wonderful improvement to the house.
Thank you.
excellent. Member Searle,
Yes, I'd like to add findings of fact if I could, please. Findings of fact if I could, please. The application as presented complies with, is compatible with the Village of Pittsford Building Design Standards post-war house section as it relates to replacement window material, and that the garage, whatever I called it the first time, I don't even remember now. The renovation of the garage for living space does not make, is not a negative impact on the historic resource.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Jeff, do we need to vote on that again?
Yes.
Jeff Turner?
No, that's only that's a finding. You don't need to vote on the findings.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
I just need Chairperson Cove as the last vote.
Yes, yes.
Okay, motion
So can we
carries.
go for it? We're all excited. I think it's going to be a great addition. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you. Woo-hoo. I'm excited.
Thank you.
It's gonna be
Bye.
nice. All right.
All right.
Tom, I need insurance for whoever's gonna do the work and then complete the building permit application.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll drop that stuff off again. So awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a great night.
You too.
We'll
All right,
wave to
bye-bye.
you as we ride our bikes by on the canal.
Oh, yeah, stop by anytime. I got a dock now, so you can always come visit my boat.
Oh, great. I just got a kayak. I'll do that.
Okay. All right,
So
well, thank you
Marina,
very much.
thanks, Tom.
Thank
Marina, I
you.
think we have one more. We've got to vote on the approval of the minutes from 1/11/21. Is that correct?
You want me to bow out or what?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks.
You may be excused.
Okay.
So has everybody had a chance to take a look at the meetings from January 11th, 2021?
Yeah.
I have a couple of modifications to the one.
Do you know how to sign me out?
That was
Or did I just click?
for the informational discussion we had.
Okay. Yep.
Marina, on page 2 of the minutes from our last meeting, the last paragraph before the member items, it starts with Ms. Collins. On the fourth line down, Member McBride agreed, stating that the structures, oh no, sorry. Member Searle expressed concern that the 6x6 posts will appear too slender to support the structure. I'd like to revise that. Member Searle expressed a concern that the 6x6 posts will appear proportionally too slender to support the structure, although they are structurally adequate. I don't want my comment to sound as though I'm questioning the structural dimension. What I'm getting at is a visual aspect, which is what we have charged to discuss and approve, not the structure.
Okay. Any
Okay.
other additions or corrections from anybody else?
No.
Nope.
Well, can we take a vote on that with Ginny's changes? All in favor of approving the minutes? Marina, you want a roll call?
Hold on, it should be by motion.
Oh, I make a motion to approve the minutes from 1/11/21.
Second.
Bill McBride seconds.
Okay. Member Morrow,
Yes.
Member Harrington,
Yes.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Member McBride,
Who?
Member McBride.
Yes.
Okay, Chairperson Cove.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. All right, guys, great meeting. Thank you so much.
Before you sign off,
Yeah.
one way that I set this up with a computer is I've had various experiments going on. I take the documents and I download them. So they're already downloaded in my download file. And then when I come onto the meeting, I have this in GoToMeeting and I have the download file. So it's fast access on the hard drive. And, I do that like, say, yesterday or whenever. And it's fast. And then you're not messing around with slow speeds.
Good point.
Ginny, did you have something else to say?
Yeah, I did. A couple of months ago, I sent an email to everybody saying that I had just read the appendix in the design guidelines related to replacement windows. And given again the discussion from this evening, I think that it would be a good idea for the board to have some sort of and Jeff would have to tell us whether we can or can't do this, to have a work session on reviewing our guidelines and the appendix to the guidelines and come up with a clear consensus of opinion on general requirements, because each case has to be looked at separately, but general requirements for replacement windows, and not rehashing every single time what what might or might not be appropriate. And it would make it easier if we had a policy in place, if we can come up with one, we could adopt it, that Steve can discuss with his applicants when they come in, to avoid confusion and misunderstanding and resentment on the part of property owners. To know what it is going forward.
I think that's a good idea. Here's what I suggest, Ginny. Since you've lived with this as much, if not more than everybody else, do you want to write that and pass that around to the board for approval and agreement?
No, because I don't want to insert my own opinions as the board's opinion. I think we need to have a group discussion about it. And Jeff, I don't know what the open meeting laws require. If we can have a work session that is not public, or a training session, we could call it, it could be a training session, but however it works out from a legal standpoint, I think all of us need to be familiar with and understand the guidelines that have been put together. I've said this before, the Village of Pittsburgh design guidelines are the very best in the state of New York, and I've looked at and read and written design guidelines myself, and none are better than these.
So I have to say that, well, Jeff, I do want to hear from you, but I think that because Mayor Corby was so intricately involved in the design guidelines that we do use, I would like his input as well. So if we do some training, I think that Mayor Corby needs to be involved as well.
I agree. And there are, I know, Steve Jordan, who does not want to be does not want anybody to be referred to him anymore, may or may not be willing to meet and discuss any questions that we have about it. I'm not sure he would come to a meeting, but if we have specific questions, I think he would be willing to answer them. And he wrote a book, The Window Sash Bible, which is the best book on window repairs that's available out there.
Okay, so Jeff, how do we go about doing this?
You just have a workshop, but it's got to be public. You just don't, I mean, there won't be public comment. You'll just work in public. That's fine.
Okay.
So it has to be announced well in advance, and anybody can attend at once.
Exactly.
So are we calling this like window workshop to assist current design guidelines?
Window replacement workshop, I think, is all that it needs to be. I'll contact Bob about it if you want, Lisa.
Okay, so Marina,
am I understanding the ultimate goal to be adding to the current guidelines?
I'm not sure it would be adding to the guidelines. Years ago, when I was on the board, the board adopted the Secretary of the Interior standards, and we adopted other things. I think that it can be adopted. Whoa, sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just that really was a question. So I mean, I would rather have it as a standalone document, I think, for clarity.
Yeah, okay, I would rather have it. I think it would be better to have it a standalone document.
So logistically speaking, though, somebody had a good point. It needs to be planned at a time that it can be allowing the public to be notified that this is taking place. Is that correct?
That would be yes.
Okay. So then, Marina, here's your first job. We need to get the board members, as well as Mayor Corby, involved in a training session that needs to take place in plenty of time for the public to know that we are going to do that. So maybe talk to Mayor Corby, find out the regulations for that, and then send out a couple dates. Obviously, it would be done via Zoom, which will make it easier for everybody.
Well, I think he ought to be notified that we want to do this.
Right. I'm sorry, I was going to call him and let him know that. So I will call him.
I wouldn't call this a training session. I would call it more as a defining and clarification session.
It's a workshop. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but not a training session.
So
Dorothea has a question. Dorothea has a question.
Nope. I just want to relay, you need to give 3 days public notice before a meeting. So I think the instruction we need to know, are you guys looking to meet in the next couple weeks or next 3 weeks? We'll take Mayor Corby's schedule into consideration when we set that. How soon do you want to meet?
I think the board should communicate first. What issues do you find difficult when we have applications for replacement windows? I think the board members need to provide input about what would be helpful for them in making a decision on a window replacement application. And then we can generate a syllabus, if you will, for the workshop, and then we can discuss it, Lisa and Bob and me and other board members. Is this everything that we think we need to talk about, or is there something that we need to do more research on, or whatever? I don't think we can do it in a week's time or even 2 weeks' time. I think it could take a month or 6 weeks to come up with a good, comprehensive approach to this,
Right.
so that everybody understands what the parameters are.
Right, and I agree with you, Ginny. So what I'm asking from you, because again, you've got the most experience, can you generate an email to send to all the board members asking for input of what we want?
Yes,
and then
yes, I'll be happy to do that.
Okay. And then
I'll
we'll
be happy to do that.
Perfect. Okay,
Can
so
we,
forward on that.
Sorry, couldn't we, because right now we aren't buried by applications right now. Couldn't we plan, if everything works out, to have a workshop right after next month's regular meeting?
What's the hurry? Why?
Timing could be based on, what we all feel is appropriate. I mean, we got to see what Bob's going to do. So I anticipate that we'll send out dates. If somebody wants to suggest that, that's fine as well. But we'll kind of send out some dates where people can all attend, and we'll move forward. Because again, Bob needs to be a part of this.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing it after a meeting, but generally speaking, everybody is anxious to leave the meeting as soon as we're done with the application.
Yeah, right.
I think, right, and I'm afraid I don't want to, because, by the time the meetings are done, let's see what time, it's an hour and a half, then we're spending people I might get burned out. So I think that
separate meeting. And I suggest that we ask Bob if he would chair this meeting.
That's fine.
Okay,
great. That would be best in my opinion also, Bill.
Okay.
I do not think that would be appropriate.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, he's not a member of the HPB, and this was an HPB workshop. He certainly could be a resource to help us through this, and should be a resource to help us through this. But actually having him step into a supervisory chairperson role is not appropriate.
No,
I understand that, Jeff.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I will send Bob an email and let him know what we had talked about tonight. Ginny's going to send us all an email with our input as to what we want to get out of this meeting, and we will get some dates from Marina. Maybe she can send us an email to suggest some dates for us to do a Zoom meeting. Okay?
Good. Okay. All right.
All right.
So could I just add, at some meeting, either this one we're proposing here or another one, that window refurbishment be covered for old time house windows?
Right.
Okay.
That would be part of the workshop.
Yeah. So Ken, when you get the message from Ginny, make sure you tell her that you'd like that included.
Okay.
All right.
How would I get Jenny's email?
He's going to send us all an email asking for our input, what we want to get out of this meeting, and you just make sure you put that in there.
All right, and then Jenny,
such a sieve, I have to write myself a note right now.
Jenny, could you include the name of that book on Windows in your email?
Yes, it's not. You're not going to find it at Barnes and Noble, but if you want a copy, I know Steve has some.
Okay.
I believe the village owns 2 copies. Bob had me order that book. So I might even have a copy that can be loaned out of the village office. I'll double check with Bob.
Are we going to be having another newsletter go out anytime in the near future?
Bob has a couple going out. has been kind of leading that charge. We're going to be having a general one going out regarding the upcoming election for the candidates forum. But we can, if the Historic Preservation Board wants to put something together for the public, yes, we could do that as well.
Yeah, 'cause I think
I don't think that fits into Bob's letter.
right, but I think we should send out a newsletter to the public because it would help with some of the people's confusion as to what they can and can't do too.
Right.
Well, this,
Yep.
yeah, but this is.
Well, that
this-
can come out of this meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll give the community the information that we come up with, but I don't think
Yeah.
that we let them know. Right. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. Thank you guys, everybody. Have a great week.
Can I address anybody? I had a couple comments.
Thank you.
Hold on. somebody-
Okay, thanks, folks.
Wait a minute.
Justin wanted to say something, I think.
Say
Bye-bye.
something.
Who did? Who did?
Justin
Justin,
Bleeker, he's requesting to speak to the board.
Who is it?
Justin Bellistra.
Okay.
Justin, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I had a quick question. I had a comment from Steve earlier today about that fence application where it sounded like it needed to go for a special use permit. Did that get resolved?
Yes, because they went to a 4-foot fence instead of the 54-inch high.
Okay, that solved it. So I was going to say there's no code authorizing the code authorizing the ZBA to review that has been repealed. So I think there's a whole bunch of legal problems with that. We'll follow up with Steve on that. You guys commented briefly on the South Street project that I think we were involved with between the ZBA and the HPB, the South and Maple house in the corner. Is that project, has there been more correspondence on that project? I haven't heard anything, or is that project dead?
He removed his application. He sent a very long letter regarding it to the mayor, and I think Bill got a copy. I'm not sure who else got a copy, but
I
they got removed.
I got one.
I think all the HPB members got a copy of it. I assume. I did. Lisa did. But this,
Okay. So if that's not moving forward, I won't discuss that anymore then. I was just wondering if there's some news on that. And last thing is you guys are discussing windows. I wouldn't mind being part of that window discussion. I've looked into this in depth, and I just built an addition on my house a couple of years ago with wood windows and wood siding, and I'm quite familiar with everything surrounding that. And I also think more solutions are needed. I had basement windows rejected by this board that were a number of years ago that were fiberglass, and that was for basement use. And I really think there'd be a much better thing than the glass blocks I see everywhere else. So I have a few opinions. I wouldn't mind being part of that.
glass block is entirely inappropriate.
Yeah, we don't.
All over the village.
I don't know where you're seeing it because
Lisa?
we've never. Yeah.
Lisa?
There are quite a few, but I'm going to suggest they were probably put in before the Architectural and Preservation Review Board. The previous APRB was functioning as an authoritative board.
I think it's more likely they're put in on a Saturday when no one was looking. So.
Oh, that's also the case.
Steve is nodding. Yeah. So I've seen lots of that. I'm just saying that whatever. I wouldn't mind being part of the discussion. That's all I'm saying.
That's great.
So I did a lot of building with these products, so I'm pretty familiar with it, and I have a few ideas. So I actually got rot-resistant wood windows and found them to be a fine solution, and they weren't horribly expensive.
Yep.
Okay.
For my main house, my basement, I'd never put them in the basement.
Okay. Thanks, Justin.
All right, that's all I had. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lisa?
So yes.
Lisa? Yeah,
Yes,
on the workshop with the windows, I think one of the things that would be helpful, since in most of our debates between between the different residents that are looking for applications to be filed. The number one issue is sadly not just a question of what the form and substance is of a window or a door, but it comes down to price. And I think without compromising what our standards are, I think to the extent that we can try to homogenize three separate cases for a particular size of window or a particular size of a door. Just my thought, because I think that's one of the things that always becomes a big debate. And to the extent that we have a guideline that will fall out of the workshop, I think that might be helpful to us.
Well, be sure to put that down on paper for us so we can get it on the list of things we're going to discuss. And
Yeah, so
I will.
right, so yeah, so when Ginny sends us the message, the email, we can all put our points of view down and send it back, okay?
Good.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great night.
We need a motion to close. Motion to
Thank you.
close.
Okay, make a
Oh,
I so move.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.